Hey, I'm Joao, and this is Channel14.com's Bodega Nights. Judging from the title, and if you listen to Third World Linux, you pretty much know what I'm going to talk about. It's kind of the same thing, but just I actually wrote things down now, so it's a little tighter, I guess. Yeah. So, first off, our thoughts and prayers go out to the city of Paris, to the people in the city of Paris, and everybody that was affected by the terror attacks that took place a week ago, more or less. If you have friends or family that were affected, I hope they're doing okay. And if we have any listeners from Paris, well, I hope you're doing okay. It actually reminds me of a time that an earthquake hit Cebu in 2013, my hometown, and Typhoon Haiyan hit the country a week later. This was around my birthday. One of our listeners actually tweeted us asking if we were okay, and that was something that I'm never going to forget. Right? Like, somebody actually tweeted us asking if we were okay, and there was actually somebody on the internet that showed human decency in a time of tragedy. And yes, I'm aware that violence happens all the time, Beirut, etc. You don't have to look any further than parts of Mindanao, the big island in the south of the country, where violence is just part and parcel of everyday life. And yes, I'm aware that the media does tend to shine a brighter spotlight on violence in the West as opposed to violence in other parts of the world, but that doesn't mean that we can't talk about Paris, right? I mean, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on geopolitics, nor am I going to pretend to be an expert on Islamic theology. But all I can really say is that it sucks. Well, not Islamic theology or geopolitics, but like the situation sucks, right? It sucks that people can just take words, right? Words, and use these words as a justification to perpetuate insane acts of violence. It sucks that you have a small group of people that can take words from a book and use it as their justification for what is pretty much genocide, right? Like, I'm not sure, but my understanding of jihad is, well, at least some Islamic scholars say that it's an internal struggle for somebody to do the right thing. And that's sort of my understanding of holy war. Again, I could be wrong, but either way, like, words, pretty powerful stuff, right? Language. You can take words from the Quran and use them as your justification for attacking 5 points in one of the most beautiful cities the world has ever seen. You can take a little red book written by a Chinese dude in the middle of the 20th century and use it as a justification to silence any dissidents, saying that they're counter to the revolution and therefore should be killed and let 1,000 flowers bloom, etc. Words, language, like, really powerful stuff. Especially if you use words as a vehicle for hate. When I look through my Facebook timeline, it can be a pretty toxic place. Like, there's all that hate. And when you see the power of words perpetuating this hate, it pretty much sucks for everybody. Personally, I think that it would do the world a whole lot of good if we understand that words do have this power and language does have this power to move people. And if only we use language, if only we use words in a way that don't perpetuate a culture of hate and violence, it will do the world a whole lot of good. We should use our words to sort of counteract all of this hate and violence and use our words to show human decency. That's what I've been sort of taking away, or that's what I've taken away from all of the violence lately. If we're just nice to each other, if we just use our words to be decent human beings, we could theoretically make the world a better place. Maybe not to the scale that we hope to change the world or that kind of thing, but yeah, at least in our little corner of the world, everybody is just a little bit nicer to each other. So just going back, something as simple as somebody tweeting us, "Are you guys okay?" Something as simple as asking somebody if he or she is doing okay. That seemingly benign phrase, simple words, they have power. and they can make an impact, even if it's just a little tiny bit. So that being said, I hope you're all doing okay.